Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Moletrap here, coming at you. I am back on the mainland, and coming at you here with Samsung Con versus. I guess it's probably already spoiled for you if you're watching this game, but just in case, if you don't want to know the results of the previous Masters Cup, STX Cup matches, then you might want to go back and watch those first because it is the Masters Cup. The STX Cup is it's basically this thing where the lowest team, or actually not Ace, but Eastro plays the third to last team, and then the winner of that plays the fourth to last team, and the winner of that plays the fifth to last team, going on up. And just kind of it's kind of a champion style to see who can, kind of like the playoffs of the Pro League. And so it's gonna spoil the previous match to know what the other team is. And so this is Samsung Com versus KT Fingerboom. And yes, it's kind of a funny sounding name. KTF Magic Ends recently changed their name. They are now KT Fingerboom, although I did hear something about the fact that they might be changing the name again, which would probably be fortunate for them. And this is Frozean versus Violet. So because this isn't really a big deal, this series, a lot of times teams will apparently send out their players that aren't quite as good, and those players will then get some more experience and that sort of thing. And it is Winners League style, or Clan War style if you prefer that term. So that means that whoever wins the game stays in the chair, and the other team has to send out another player to face them. And so it's you have the possibility of an all-kill in this kind of a format as well. By the way, I am going to try and do this entire series. I'm going to try and do the entire series. It's a best of 7, similar to Winners League. And I've decided I'm going to put up fake games up to Game 7 if it doesn't go that far. So if you went and you started this and you see 7 games, it might just be some fake games going on. Maybe I'll do some extra VODs of other games from World Cyber Games or something to fill in the space. I don't know. Anyway, so we see Frozean walling off his choke there, making sure he gets that depot down, not completing it yet because he wants to keep mining with that SCV, but at least getting it started to complete the wall so the probe can't get into his base and see what's going on. It looks as if Violet is, interestingly, I think they were showing he had 2 probes on gas, which is kind of strange. Well, maybe it's not strange, actually. I'm not sure what build he's doing yet, but it might be normal for his build. But normally, well, I don't know, maybe I shouldn't say anything, but I would think that the Protoss would always want to get as much gas as possible to save up for something like that. Or maybe I'm just on crack, maybe he didn't actually take a probe off gas after all. Anyway, so it looks like Frozean's going 1 factory into Command Center, though. He's got his factory started, and it's got 1 SCV on gas, which is pretty normal to try and save up money for a Command Center while still getting enough gas that you can get the machine shop down at the end of... Oh! And the SCV gets through. I have no idea. I don't know. You see this a lot from pro gamers, letting the worker unit up that ramp with the single zealot there. You would think that pro gamers would spend more time focusing on how to block their ramp. You would think that they would be, more practiced at that. But it seems a lot of the time like pro gamers suck at blocking the ramp with a single zealot. They just don't put it in the right place. And that's kind of strange to me. He is going to dispatch that SCV pretty quickly, putting actually down a pylon behind his minerals to block its path so it couldn't run around the mineral patch indefinitely and find out more information about what's going on. But he did get a good eyeful and did get to see what Violet's doing for the moment. I think he's going to expect some early pressure here, kind of the normal build you see with the early range and that sort of thing. He's probably going to put, it's kind of what we see as being the norm in Protoss vs Terran these days. Anyway, another thing I want to mention, is that, I'm going to do the whole series. I'm going to try and put either video responses through the whole chain of them, or I might, depending on how many there are, I might just make a playlist. That might be easier to do. So check the description of this game, and there might be a playlist that you can just do view all, and it'll cycle through the whole, and that'll be less spoilers too, if you don't look at the playlist, the list of games in the videos in the playlist. So then you won't know, well, I guess if I'm going to make up to 7 games anyway, so that won't matter. But, so there either be video responses for the whole series, or there will be a playlist available, so you can just watch the whole series in series, all the videos. The last time I did that ended up being 7-game series, no, 8-game series, and it was like 17 different YouTube videos or something like that. It was ridiculous. So yeah, we're seeing some normal pressure here. Frozean doing a good job microing his SCVs to make sure none of them died. Oh, he needs to be careful about that tank though. Oh, the mischance. Mischance really not working well for Violet there. Yeah, he missed, looks like a couple times with those Dragoons trying to fire up the hill. And so did not do any damage, real damage to that tank. It's kind of interesting that that's become the norm to have this situation where you have this early Dragoon pressure and or early pressure being put on, and they get the tank out just at the right moment. They have to repair their wall, and then they get the tank out just at the right moment to push things back. And usually the Protoss in a professional game like this doesn't accomplish much, so I'm surprised that they've kept up with it, despite the fact that Terrans have kind of solved that. But they do force certain things. They force the Terran to make those tanks quickly. They force the Terran to have that wall. They take SCVs off minerals to repair and that sort of thing. So it does accomplish some, if not anything too obvious here. Now, Frozean's actually gotten his expansion up already, and he's putting up a nice wall again, re-landing his barracks in a good spot, putting another depot down to make another wall in front of those tanks. And that is crucial, because otherwise, if you don't have your stuff in the right place, the Protoss can easily just walk up with a group of 4 or 5 Dragoons, you know, send in a Zealot first to take the hits, and if you only have a few tanks, the Protoss can easily pick off just 2 volleys of disruptor charges from a small group of Dragoons, can usually take out a tank very quickly. And if they keep your tank count down, if the Protoss could keep that tank count down, then they'll be in really, really good shape going into the mid-game and basically be able to overpower the Terran. Because the Terran strategy these days generally consists of, you know, turtling and getting a couple bases, extra bases, and then getting as many tanks as possible. And if they don't have those tanks to hold off and to turtle with, then they're going to get run over. And then their tank count's going to be lower in the long run as well. So we see... It looks like, I can't tell if anything's actually being upgraded at that armory yet, but he does have an armory out now. We might see perhaps a Goliath out of Frozean, which would be a smart move to try and fend off. Oh, and a starport going down, and wow, Violet saw that SCV running off to the side, followed it with his observer, and spots this starport as soon as it goes down. We're not exactly sure what the starport is there for yet. It could be for a drop, we're not sure yet. It looks like, let's see, we see a Citadel and a Robo going down, and now a Templar Archives. So it looks like we're going to see a DT drop from Violet, and Frozean is going to be really, really, really prepared for this. He's got plenty of units right now. I mean, Violet, he went into expansion first, so you know, it's not going to be hard for him to defend. And look, just here he needs to get some tanks on the line there. Now this is a situation where that tank is a little bit close. If Violet wanted to, he could probably run up and pick off that tank, but I don't think he knows how few tanks Frozean had there. Actually, he had some more in the back, so he may have enough. But, well, actually, he may be going for a Wraith to deal with the shuttle instead of a Goliath. So that might be a good move, too. Actually, he does have a Goliath out. Okay, so he's going for a little bit of everything here. Anyway, he's got Comsat stations down. And never mind, he's not going for Wraith, he's just going for Science Vessels. So, never mind. My bad. Getting a second armory down. I think another reason why he's doing that is to get the next level of upgrades. You need the starport and the facility to get the higher level upgrades on your armories. Arbiter Tribunal going down. So, that's... Okay. So I am on crack. I was like, why is he going for a Templar drop so late? That doesn't make any sense. But, in fact, it was because he was getting the Templar Archives for his Arbiter Tribunal and not, in fact, for the Templar themselves. Although he will very likely get High Templar eventually later on. He may, in fact, theoretically have well, I don't know if he'll have Templar in that shuttle yet. He may have some DTs yet. He's going to try and do some harassment. He may have some DTs to drop after all, but that wasn't, I think, the real main purpose of getting the Templar Archives. He wanted to get the Arbiter Tribunal going down. And Dropship is now out for Frozean. Let's see what looks like he's going to throw a couple Vultures and a tank into that. And that could be very, very effective, especially if he goes around the map and goes and drops behind the mineral line at that expansion. But it looks like Violet may have an observer in place to see that dropship when it comes around. He may have seen it already. He may be expecting it. And in which case he'll be able to theoretically defend it since he has a shuttle of his own. He can move a couple Dragoons to the other side of those minerals. He's actually going to move up, wow, along the front of Violet's base instead of going around the back of the map. I think Violet may know about it, though, because look at this. He's sending his shuttles up to the north as well. And here's the... Wow. Okay, wait.